Thank you for taking the time to speak with Real Film News today. I guess I'll get started. First off, congratulations with, I guess this is your fourth year, correct? You started in 2012?
Third year.
Third year, okay. And, going into your third year now, it's, it just so happens to also be the 25th anniversary of the festival as well. So congratulations on that. Can you talk a bit about, how that is to see this festival into its 25th year?
Sure, it's definitely a very exciting year, both for the festival, as you noted. It's our 25th year, which is a major milestone for any organization, and particularly a Jewish film organization. We are one of the oldest and largest and most prestigious exhibitions of Jewish cinema, really anywhere in the country and the world. I think we're about the third or fourth oldest at this point, founded in 1990. For myself, as you rightly noted, it's my third year, and I'm excited, to have seen the festival in a real period of growth. It's nearly tripled in size during those 3 years, and the nice thing about a milestone year like this is it allows you to really look forward to a bright future, but also a lot of what we're doing is taking pause and stock of the successes we've had. One of the major initiatives for this year is actually specifically targeting the history and cinematic gems of the Jewish film experience, and we have a program of 10 films that focus on classic and repertory cinema, either newly reworked films, or just ones we're bringing back.
Okay, awesome, great. So with all that being said, 25th year with anything is quite a milestone. So are there any unique things that you have that are just special for this year just because of that particular milestone?
To an extent, I think we very actively didn't want to reinvent the wheel. It's been a successful festival. It's already been in this great trajectory of growth, as I mentioned. And a lot of that is because we do what we do well, and that's kind of what we stick to, which is presenting the best of contemporary Jewish and Israeli cinema. We're always, every year, on the lookout for new, exciting, innovative voices, original cinematic voices, and so we're naturally continuing that. Obviously, the exact lineup is new. In particular for this year, as I mentioned, this homage to our past is very important. We're also obviously very excited about our special nights, our premium evenings this year, starting with Guy Nativ's new film, Magic Men. He was here a few years back with Mabul, or The Flood, and the American translation, so we're thrilled to have that. The actress Carol Kane is going to be with us, and she's beloved, from roles in Princess Bride to Taxi to many others, Annie Hall. So we're thrilled to have her here and for her Oscar-nominated role in Hester Street. That's a major evening for us. Theodore Bickel, who just turned 90 and is still very, very active and, major figure both in American cinema and also theater, writing, and song, will be with us. And our spotlight evening we're thrilled about as well, with David Broza, Grammy award-winning Steve Earle, and Mira Wad, both showing a documentary of the making of their latest album, but then also them performing for a 45-minute musical set. So a lot of exciting things. I can't say that they're particularly because they're 25th years. It's really kind of what we do, and we hope to do it well. But it's a banner year in many ways.
All right, awesome. Now, as you said, you have a quite a diverse slate of films this year, over 100, I understand. So with that said, I'm sure that there are quite a few films that come through that you have an opportunity to look at that are impressive, in their own right, but just by virtue of the fact of how many films you can get into the festival and how long the festival is, there are only certain films that make the cut. So can you talk a bit about your thought process when you are deciding which film is going to make the cut and which film doesn't?
Sure. Part of it is a boring answer, but I think a true one for any good festival, which is we do our primary thing that we look for is quality. Obviously, we have a mandate and a mission being a Jewish and Israeli festival, and so it has to fit within that rubric, and it's about the Jewish experience on film, not a Jewish filmmaker or actor, but really something on screen. That can take a lot of different forms and shapes, but obviously not every film fits into that. Beyond that, the number one thing we look for is quality. As you mentioned, there are a lot of great films that don't make the cut for one reason or another. Just to give a sense, we consider slightly over 1,000 films a year, and the festival actually has 100 events, but not 100 films. We have roughly 70 films, but many of them screen more than once, and that's how we get up to the closer to the 100 number. So overall, I mean, in the festival, we take about 6% of what we're able to see, which obviously leads to some films that are absolutely great and wonderful, and this may just not be the venue or the time. Many of them we're able to bring as part of our year-round program. In addition to the festival, we also screen over 70 screenings a year on top of the festival ones, and it's great that we own our theater and are able to do that. But yeah, I mean, I think the decisions first and foremost start with quality, and then in terms of sort of the latter cuts, a lot of what we're looking for is diversity of vision. As I think you also noted, we don't want to be telling the same story over and over again, and there's some stories, whether it be the Eastern European Jewish out of the shtetl story or stories dealing with the Holocaust, that we certainly still focus on, but it's important that if we're showing the story and it's one that's been covered in other films or books or presentations, that it's either being presented in a new way or a new light, or more and more you're finding films, and we're very much actively seeking them, about the Jewish diaspora, about an experience that's maybe not on screen as much. One film I'm really looking forward to this year, The Trilogy of Love, is about Senegalese Jewish mysticism, not something you hear about every day.
Sure.
We actively look for films from Asia, from Latin America, because there's a sort of monolithic view of what the Jewish experience is, and that's, when you dig down a little deeper, is not the only experience, maybe the dominant one that's been presented in media, but it's not the exclusive view.
Okay, great. Well, you actually are a terrific mind reader. My next question for you was, you just, among all those films, which would be films that for one reason or another, just personally, you're really excited about having audiences see. I know you were talking a little bit about, I think you said Magic Men, and then you were commenting on another one. Aside from those, are those the main ones that you would say that you're, personally, you would say that you're a little biased to, that you're, interested in, or are there any others that you're really excited about? I know it's kind of hard.
It's tough to say. Yeah, kind of. Again, I feel like I'm just giving the wimpy answers a bit, but by the time that, and I'm lucky enough to, I really do put together the program. There are people that help with pre-screening, but the final program is of my doing, for better or worse. By the time we get there and we have made so many cuts, I think there is something truly compelling to me, and hopefully to our audiences as well, about each and every screening. Not to say that everyone would love every show. I think I'm probably the only person that loves every show in the festival. And a lot of it is just, it's kind of a choose-your-own-adventure situation. It's if you're looking again for the Jewish and African-American experience, we have 3 films that hit on that theme that I'm really excited about, including the world premiere of a film by Viva Kempner, who happens to be the festival founder and is also a filmmaker. She made a film called The Rosenwald Schools. It's about Julius Rosenwald and Booker T. Washington's partnership to build over 5,000 schools, elementary schools, for black children in the South at a time where there were none. There's a film called Red Father that deals with a sort of mix of communism, socialism, Jewish identity, and this rise to the core social justice principles of the civil rights movement. A Jewish lawyer helping with prejudiced legal system in Maryland, so right in our backyard, in a particular case there. We have a very interesting film called Little White Lie, also sort of on that theme. It's about a woman who grew up thinking that she was white, despite outward appearances that she wasn't, and then found out later in life that she actually did have a black father, not the man she believed to be her father, and how she squared that identity with a very sort of core middle-class Jewish existence. So, that's one direction you could take it. Trilogy of Love, I already mentioned, if you're interested in this sort of Senegalese experience. A film I'm very excited about, that many others are too, is Get, The Trial of Vivian Anselm, which is the latest in the trilogy from Ronit El-Kabetz. It's the film that Israel put forward as its Oscar submission for this year, and we've had a great tradition of playing Oscar-nominated films, including this year we're playing Uruguay's Oscar-nominated film as our closing night for Mr. Kaplan. A film we played last year, Ida, is one of the 5 finalists for the Oscar this year.
Right.
So, it's a slightly larger profile film, but certainly a worthwhile one. Another Israeli film that, I think is tremendous, and started out to great critical acclaim at Cannes earlier this year, is Next to Her. which I think takes a very mature view of disabilities and the possibility of love, both familial and more less platonic and more romantic love for somebody with disabilities. I think a very interesting film. So a lot of different angles you can slice it. There are films for teens and tweens, like Belle and Sebastian and Secrets of War, which are really specifically aimed at younger kids. We've filmed about chess for the chess players, which is our second year, randomly enough, in a row, where we have a really interesting chess film. So a lot of different ways to slice the program.
All right, great. So looking, beyond, I know that the festival is yet to commence, but are there already, plans on, okay, this is what we're going to do next year, or the plans like clearly focus on what you have happening in the next couple weeks?
It's a bit of both. As we get closer to events, clearly they come into sharper focus. I think a lot of the partnerships that we're bringing into this festival, we have a great collaboration with Howard University, and that's in part underwritten by the Humanities Council, that we're thrilled about, with the Jewish and African American connections and Howard University. We have some great partnerships with Library of Congress. So many of these things we look to continue. A lot of what we're putting stock into is also the growth of our year-round program. Clearly, it's been proven in the last few years there's a real hunger for this kind of content, not just during the 10 defined days of the festival, but really throughout the year. And our year-round program, by extension, has sort of wildly exceeded our expectations in terms of attendance, diversity and vibrancy of the programs. We've been able to bring in a lot of filmmakers, both from the U.S. and abroad, for that. We have a lot of thoughts around how to get more in universities, high schools, and middle schools by way of education. So a lot of thoughts, and hopefully they'll gain a little more focus and clarity as we get post-festival.
All right, awesome. So the festival starts on February 19th, and it runs until March 1st.
That's correct.
I'm sure tons of folks are, interested on everything that the event has to offer. So I appreciate, Ilya. Thank you so much for your time.
Sure. Thank you.